whatever the UI that I want to design or custom functionality that I want to design, people used to design using S controllers. Right. Now, basically, sforce is a Ajax functionality, or we call it as a Ajax toolkit. Ajax toolkit. Now, if you want to use this Ajax within a Visual Force page, we can run synchronous methods and synchronous methods. Asynchronous and synchronous. Both the operations we can perform from the Visual Force page. When you are going for the synchronous or asynchronous, I want to interact with the database, get the data. When you want to interact with a small size of data, I want to insert a single record into database. I want to insert 50 records into database. I want to update 50 records in the database. When you want to interact with a less number of records, then why should I go for an Apex class? Why should I write a logic in the Apex class? Why should I write a web service using the Apex class? I want to implement the simpler logics, small number of records, small number of fields. If I have only the operation on a very less number of records, less number of fields, then why should I go for an Apex? I can simply implement that using a sforce connection. It is a asynchronous operation or a synchronous operation that you would like to perform within a Visual Force page with the help of JavaScript. Now, what type of service call it is? SOAP service call. How many records I can retrieve if I write a SOAP connection? I can retrieve at max 200 records. Once 200 records are completed, again I have to send a fresh call to get the records. What my point here? Now, this sforce is suitable for what? When you want to work with a less number of records. And basically, it's up to 200 records. If you want to go for more than that, I can implement the query once again, get a fresh record, then implement it. Now, we are going to use Ajax with a SOAP. The first point, how do you establish a connection? If you want to use a sforce, we have to generate a session ID. When you want to generate a session ID, there are two queries. Are you trying to get the data from the same org into which you are logged in? Are you trying to get the data from the same org from which you are trying to log in? That is one point. Are you trying to get the data from some other org, or are you trying to get the data from Java to Salesforce? If you want to use this, if you want to write any query from Java application and get the data from Salesforce, again you have to use same sforce. From .NET I want to implement, I want to write a query and get the data from the Salesforce. Again what we need to use? Sforce. Sforce connection is a common. You may use Java, same scripting. You may use a .NET, same lines of code. You may use any other technology, same lines of code. From any system, if you want to connect to the Salesforce, interact with the database, get the data, interact with the database, perform DML operation, then we use sforce. As I am only showing the Salesforce, but we can do the same thing with the Java. Write a Java class. From Java class, create a sforce connection object, call the login method, and write a query, get the data. Getting your point? So if you want to interact with the Java, you want to interact with the .NET, how do you interact? Sforce.connection. Clear out the point? Any query on this? Now, in the Visual Force, I am not writing any classes. I am trying to interact with the scripting. So let me give you. So make a note, Ajax. Any system. It's not necessary that it should be Salesforce. From any system to Salesforce. No. How can you use the Salesforce rules to communicate with Java? They will give their own rules. Now when you want to use the Salesforce, Salesforce has given the rules called sforce.connection that you are using in external system. Now if you want to use a Java in Salesforce, now the Java application will give you rules which you will be using in Salesforce. Right. Now what is this? Asynchronous, keep writing Ajax. Asynchronous, JavaScript and XML. Asynchronous, JavaScript and XML. Ajax is the art of exchanging. Ajax is the art of exchanging data with a server. Data with server and updating parts of web page, without reloading the whole page. Without reloading the whole page. Without reloading the whole page. Right. To use Ajax, next point. To use Ajax in the Visualforce page, we will use Ajax ToolKit. And this toolkit is available. Ajax ToolKit. And this toolkit is available for any organization that has access to the API. That has access to the API. Now, it's a main point. What you are doing. You cannot understand the partner visual, but it's a main point. Ajax API uses partner visual file Now, when you are discussing about the web services, I'll tell you what is this partner visual. But as of now, remember that we are using a partner visual file because this call is what? SOAP call. When you are making a SOAP call, either you have to go with a enterprise or a partner. Now what we are using? Partner visual file. Then Ajax is more suitable when you are working with a small amount of data. Ajax is more suitable when you are working with small set of data. Then let me go to the next point. As I told you already, you need to go with how many records? When you write a query, basically it gives 200 records. Fine. Next, when you are trying to use the Ajax, we need to first include the scope, include the resource. When you want to use the Ajax toolkit, we need to include the resource. Right. Next, steps to implement. Steps to include Ajax toolkit within a Visualforce page. Steps to Visualforce page. First step, include Ajax toolkit in the Visualforce page. Include Ajax toolkit in Visualforce page. So how do you include this? Already we have done in the yesterday session. How do you include? I would go with Apex, or else I have to go for script src equal to slash. I'll use the developer console because it shows a different double quotes. Now what we are doing? So if you want to include slash okay, dot slash soap slash Ajax slash. Now the latest version is 32.0. We are including 30.0. Then connection.js type equal to test and scripter. This is the first step what we have to do. So first we have to include Ajax toolkit in Visual Code Space. How do you include? Script src equal to soap slash Ajax 30.0 connection.js. Step number 2. Generate the session ID. So once you included, I have to generate the session ID. Taken. That's the web services. Taken everyone? Then we need to generate the session ID. When you want to generate the session ID, if you are trying to, so in this case look at the point. So if we are trying to access the data from the org in which you are logged in, then we can get the session ID from global object. We can get the session ID from global object. Now how do you generate it? In this case, look at the point. Where underscore sfdg session ID equal to get session ID. So what are you getting here? The organization to which you are logged in, if you want to get the session ID of that organization, again why should you give username and password? Already you gave username, password and logged in. Already you have given username, password and logged in. Again why should you enter username, password and security token? Not necessary. Directly capture the session ID from your session ID what you have created. That is where space is a variable. Where variable underscore sfdc session ID equal to get session ID. This is what we are using. Taken. This is if you are trying to access the data from the org in which you logged in. If you want to communicate with the external system. What is the second? If you want to connect to external org and get the session ID and interact with external data, Then generate the session ID using, how do you generate the session ID? sforce.connection login, username, password, username, password plus security token. This will generate the session ID. So let me give you, look at this example. Now I'm simply implementing a simple logic here. I have a preview of this page. And what happened here? You got the page here. So if you are looking at this, what happened here? Sandbox or not, password expired, password or not, session ID. This is entire my session ID. Org attachment file limit size, currency ISO code, org has person accounts. So all this is the information about the user. What is the currency of the user? What is the organization details? Entire thing we are getting here, right? So this simply we have given a code. Simply this is giving the code. Once you logged in, it's just creating a pop-up window, right? Let me cut down. This is a screenshot what it is generating. In this, we need to go with, let me make one more point here. What I need to do, I need to generate the session ID. The session ID is here. I want to generate that session ID. Okay. For this, what is the code that I have written here? The code that I have written is, this is the code what I have written. Simply I have included the script. I have given batch password. I have written some code with this one. Write this code and password, we got this result. When you got the result, out of this result what I have to capture? I have to capture the session ID. In this, what I need to do? Capture the result object. From the result object, I need to capture the ID. So what I have to do next step? Step number 2 in this. Step number 2, assign session ID from the result object into sforce connection session ID. So how do you assign it? sforce dot connection dot session ID equal to result dot session ID. Is that was clear? Now let me give you. I'm just modifying the code for your understandability. So what I'm doing here now, sforce dot connection dot session ID equal to dot. Now I want to give result dot session ID. We have implemented the same program yesterday also. There is nothing variation in this. Now what we got here? It's a session ID which is generated. You are getting the session ID here. This is the session ID what I am getting. This session ID I have to use it. Any query for anyone? Following me? Following me? Right. So what is this? This is the session ID. Now let me cut down. Use these screenshots for your reference. Right. Now for this, what is the program that you have given here? Now, once you have generated session ID, what I want to do, once you generated session ID, what I want to do is, I want to write a query. You generated the session ID. Once the session ID is generated, you want to write a query and get the data. Right. Now, using the above session ID, write the query and retrieve the data from the account object. Now you want to write a query. So what is the function for this? Syntax sforce dot connection dot query, generate a query and write a query. Now sforce dot connection dot query, you are writing a query now. Now let us see here. Now the session ID is generated. Now I am creating where records equal to sforce dot connection dot query, select ID, name from. Now I want to display my records. Now what you have done? You have assigned the session ID to the sforce connection dot session ID. Then you are writing a SQL query. When you are writing a SQL query, what happened here? You are getting the records here, ID, name of the record, ID, name of the record. We are getting the ID of the record and the name of the record. So what we have done here? Simply I have passed the session ID. I have to capture the screen first. What you are getting here? Simply getting the records. For this, what I have done? First I established the connection. Then I started accessing the data. Now what all the data that you got, I don't want to see the data in that format. Now what I want to do, I want to put them into an array and use it. Now I want to convert the given data into array and use it. Now convert records which we have fetched into, convert the records which you have fetched into array. For that what we need to do is where records equal to my records dot get array of This we have to use. So let me implement this. My records dot get array now I'm displaying my records. Now we are getting the data here, the same, but it's in the form of array. This is in the form of array. So let me take it. No, I'm just giving the step-by-step output also. You can implement with the screenshots. Now once you converted into array, I want to take each and every record and perform a logic on it. Now all the records are available with you in the array. So what I want you to do, I want to take each and every record. On each and every record I want to perform some logic. On each and every record I want to perform some logic. Then you have to go for next part here. Then what I am doing here, for where I equal to 0, I is less than, how do you find out the array length? Records dot length I plus plus. Now what we are doing is, I am just creating some variable on the top where then result in result equal to records of I dot name plus you can use here so I'm taking the record ID, record of I dot ID. Now let us try out with this combination also, whether it is helpful or not. Okay. Now what I am printing on the result now? Else I can take this one. So BR I can simply use, instead of BR I can go with the next one more part. I can use slash now what happened here? You are getting this record with the record name and ID. Let me put it in better way so you can identify more easily now. So initially let me give it in this way. Now we are giving account name plus record name and your ID. Okay. So what we are trying to do? We are taking each and every record and we are trying to see the record. Now account name, Unipoint, my ID. ID For initial record, there is no ID. So for next one, my ID undefined. We are getting the undefined IDs, right? We are getting undefined IDs. Why we are getting undefined IDs? The reason is so simple. It's a case sensitive. Right. The problem with this is case sensitive. So let me take the capital I and check it out. Now you got the IDs. So account name so and so and ID is so and so. We are getting the accounts with the IDs. So what we have done? The records which we fetched, we converted into array and we have taken each and every record. On each and every record, we are trying to perform some logic. You want to update, you want to perform something, it's up to your choice. You have taken this. Right. Now, let me take now. So, we will continue with our example, old example. Should we continue with the invoice page, line item page, where we are going to take the data? Okay, we'll try it out later. So, let us implement some other logic with the sforce now. Now this is how we fetch the record from the object. I hope everyone has followed this. Everyone has followed this, right? No. So what I am making is a synchronous operation. We can also make asynchronous operation. We'll see those activities later. Now what we are doing here is, once you got the record, now I have a requirement to create a new record in the Salesforce using sforce. I want to create a new record. If you want to create a new record, using sforce you want to create a new record. Using sforce if you want to create a new record, it is something like this, where ACC equal to sforce dot sObject, sforce dot sObject. What is the object that you are trying to refer? I am trying to refer account object. We are trying to refer to account object. Sforce dot sObject account. Now once you have done this account, I have to take ACC dot name equal to this. It is a case sensitive. We will have an issue. I'll give the document. Listen. I'll give this document. Right. So we are creating this. This we have created a var variable whose type is sforce.sObject, whose data type is sforce.sObject, and we are trying to take a object of account. In the sforce sObject account, we are creating a variable from the Salesforce sObject account. Now for that account, we are creating account dot name equal to Satish, account dot industry equal to banking. Now we have to insert. When you want to create insert, it should be something like this. Sforce dot connection dot create. Now we are going to insert array of record, which means syntax. So which is going to be in the form of, in the above example, you have to take sforce dot connection dot create, because I created only one record. If you want to create an array of record, you can do that. If you want to create an array of record, you can do that. So let me expand this. I don't want to use this program, I will use another program. This is what we want to do. If this is good, rest all the things are good. Here it will be common for everyone. Now in this, I have to create var is equal to object c dot banking. I want to insert. So when you want to insert, you can take the var result, var equal to sforce dot connection dot create. Right. Now I want to go for alert. So it will display the result, success or a failure. If it is a success, it is going to give you record ID. If it is a failure, it will not. It gives false. So let me go to the preview of this. Now there is error now. Story repeated. Okay. Let me take. So the probable error may be S object case instance. S object case instance. Create account. So we don't want to create an account. We want to create a single account here. So what we have, what he is trying to create? He is trying to create India. You understood the mistake here. The mistake is new. Yeah. Now what happened? Record ID success equal to true. Record ID success equal to true. Because the record is inserted successfully, you got the recording. Right. Now we are able to perform an inserting of a new record from Visual Force into an object. To which object you want to perform, it's up to your choice. To which object you want to perform, it's up to your choice. Any query on this? So it is new. That's what we missed out here. I hope everyone has followed this. Any query on this? Then let me give you one more example of this. We'll try to work on update. Now we have inserted. Now I want to go for update. So when you want to go for an update, again we have a update. Before we go for an update, we have a question here. What is the difference between query, query all, query more? What is the difference between query, connection dot query more, connection dot query all? We have three terms here. So let me give you. What is the difference between query, now when you are going for these three, when you say query, it will perform a regular query, get the records. Maximum it can get 200 records in a single call. In a single call it can get 200 records. When you give a query all, the records which you have deleted, they will go to recycle bin. When you say query all, the records which you have deleted, even those records are fetched back. Generally, when I say query, the records which are there in the object, they are given. Let us say I have the object record Satish, Sham, Kiran. Now Kiran is deleted. When Kiran is deleted, it is in the recycle bin. When I say select ID comma name from account, it is going to give Satish and Sham. Let me put it onto the diagonal representation. Probably that would be better. Let us say I have a table with some records. Satish, Sham, Kiran. When you have the following records, this is my recycle bin. I have deleted Kiran. When I deleted Kiran, it is deleted from the object and it has gone to the. Now when I say select name from account using query, that is going to give only Satish and Sham. When I say query all, select name from account, it is going to give Satish, Sham and Kiran. The records which are deleted and which are in the recycle bin. The records which are deleted and which are in the recycle bin, even those records are fetched when you give query all. Right. Now I am going for query mode. When I write a query in the table, let us say I have 1000 records. I have 1000 records. When you have 1000 records, query is going to return only 200 records in the sforce. Now if you want to get the next set of 200 records, then we will say query mode. When you say query mode, you can move query and query mode. Query mode means the set of records are going to be fetched. Next set, next set, next set. Clear up the point? Followed everyone? So query will give the list of records which are in the object and it can return up to 200 records in the sforce connection. When you say query all, the records which are in the recycle bin, they are also fetched back. When you say query more, when the limit has crossed, the next bunch of records will be fetched by using query mode. Clear? So this is the one of the main point, right? So what we have? Right. Then next, I am going for an update. When you are going for an update, let me give you. Okay, here only we have one more example actually. What is that example? We have something called push. Let us try out with this example. We have something called push, right? So what is this push? How it helps? Now what is this? We have taken array. We have taken array. Now we are trying to push the records into an array. Now what I am doing here is where ACC1 equal to move force right. Now what we are doing is accounts dot push accounts dot push. Now instead of giving this, because it is expecting an array, right? It is expecting an array. Now what happened? There are two records which are success. When you want to create a group of records, when you want to insert a group of records, previously you have done for a single record. In case if you want to go for a group of records, this example you will be using. What is that? Push concept. Is that was clear? I hope things are clear, right? That's a variable, right? Where account. So what is this? This is a variable. I can take anything of my choice. Now, what we have done? How to insert group of records. Group of records using sforce connection. What we have? Taken a group of records. Then, as we discussed, I will go for update and delete. I want to go for update, I want to go for delete. How do you update a record? How do you delete the record? So for this, the common point here is common session ID. So let me create one more example. Okay. So let us try with query all. Let us try with the query all. Okay. We'll delete some record from the account and we'll try to see whether we are going to get that record or not. How do you write a query? Sforce dot connection dot let me take, yes, the code is similar, I'm just copying it. I hope this is clear for everybody. I will take one variable print URL. Now let me go to the object. End of the same entity. XML document structure should start and end with same entity. Then where do we lose? Apex page twice we have copied. That is the error. Now go to this object first. Account. Now I'm deleting both Ajax test records. Both the records I will delete. There are no Ajax test records now, right? Okay. Error not popping up. Error is coming from where? Print result, session ID, sforce.connection, query all. Let us take a look at the document now. What we have? Sforce.connection dot query all. That's a query that it will go to that part and execute. Pardon me? Previously was it is like that? Now I added. No. There may be slight we have to check it out. Sforce connection, my records exactly. I have not converted into array. You're right. Records equal to records array. So when you are using a scripting, there is a problem. See, when you are not given that records, but it's not throwing any error. So look at the point. We got Ajax test record. We got Ajax test record. We already deleted the records of Ajax test record, but still we are able to get the records. So when you say query all, it fetch every record from the recycle bin also. Right. Now, okay, this is okay. Pardon me? Yes. Now what I want to do is, let us implement query more also. You know, we have just done this. Let us go with query more also. So query all, query more. So when you are going for query more, then we have to, okay, that's okay. You got the required format. So we are going to go for a query more. So when you go for a query more, then we have to check out the status. All the records are fetched or not. If all the records are not fetched, then we'll go for this point. Let us see. If boolean is done, that means all the records are fetched. Then, if it is done, all the records are fetched, it is going to perform some operation. Else, it is going to perform again sforce.connection query more. You are writing a query, getting the records. Once you are getting a record, if there are still any more records, then we are going to get. So look at the point here. Query more equal to true. Basically, query more is true. Then while true, implement. Where records equal to result dot get array of records. We are taking the records. If result dot, what is this result? This is the result. Result dot get boolean done. Query more equal to false. All the records are fetched, so false. Else return. Else repeat the process. Now what I have to do is, okay. So we'll implement the same logic. Let me create a new page. Everyone is following this, right? Now what we are trying to do is, we are trying to use this logic. Let me use. I'll tell what his intention is. He has taken a variable. Basically, the variable is true. Then what happens? While loop will repeat as many times until it is true. The while loop will repeat. Now, when the while loop will be false, when the loop is completed, it is going to be false. Now, then if result dot get boolean. Result dot means when you got the result, whether all the records are fetched or not. Get to boolean, done. If all the records are fetched, then it is going to return. So basically we need to have those many records. I'll do in different format. We'll check it out whether it works or not. Because I'll try to reduce the number of records. I'll try to work with less number of records and see whether it is able to give the logic or not. Instead of fetching all the records, what I will do is I'll try to else. So close off the for, close off the if, close off the else. This for the while, right? On this alert. Okay. Now what I will do is, instead of all the records, I'll give limit 3 and see whether, if I give limit 3, probably that will take 3 records. Right? We'll see whether it can fetch out only 3 records. Okay. So basically, if you have got more than 200 records, what we can do is that will repeat. Okay. So only the variation. Let me explain you the logic. Basically, this is the logic what we are implementing, right? Now, provided that what you told, he has given a loop. He told, boss, when you implement the result, there is a variable called get boolean done. Get boolean done. There is a variable called done. Okay. Now let us see whether we have a variable called done or not. For that, I will give result. Probably when you see the result, you will understand, right? If all the records are fetched, that done will be true. If all the records are not fetched, now look at the point. Done equal to true. If it is true, all the records what you are trying to fetch is fetched. There are no pending records. If it is done, then simply close the operation. If it is not done, that means still there are some records. Still there are some records. When still there are some records, then again query more. Query one more time. Is that was clear? Any query on this? If done value equal to true, then all the records are fetched, whatever that you are doing. Okay. There is no limitation. That means all the records are fetched. There is no limitation because of the size. If there is a 400 records, because of the size limitation, you got only 200, then done will be false. When done is false, again query more. You have written query, then you are writing query more one more time. Then what happens? It goes to the top, again queries, get the data. Okay? Then, clear? That's what he has done. He has given. What he has given? Basically, query more. If query more is true, implement this, come to this one. The loop will repeat. The loop will repeat. When the loop will repeat, what happens here? If result dot get boolean is done, query more equal to false. Right? Else, result equal to connection, result dot query locator. In the result, go to the next set of records. Go to the next set of records. Find the point. Query locator is iterator, which will repeat. Fine. So hope this is clear for everybody. So basic difference between query locator, query all, query move. Hope things are clear for everyone. Then let us go to the next, as we are pending now, that is update. Now let us work with the update. So when you want to go for an update, let us see what is the status of that. Now when you want to update, first fetch the record and you have to pass the records which you want to update. So sforce.connection dot update the record IDs. Now we are passing the record IDs. You are passing the record IDs. Is that clear? Now let us try it out. I want to perform update and delete. Update and undelete. Both you can try it in a single example. I hope rest of the things you can see the document and perform it, right? The things are common. If I'm right, I have uploaded this my document on Ajax for the last 5 batches back. I have uploaded the document in Netar. You can find it on Facebook somewhere. Search for the Satish Myla Ajax material, you'll get it. Okay. I think I made all the queries somewhere long back. I uploaded it to the net. You can get it. I'll give this copy. Apart from this, if you want to take a complete structure of the copy, you can take it from the net. If you are getting any restriction on that, let me know. I'll give the credentials. Now what we are trying to do now, okay, I don't want to take it in this format now. I'll go for this, where ACC to sforce dot S object. I will create a record and I will update the record. So, again, now what we have, now we want to update. How do you update? Where sforce dot connection dot create. It is expecting an array. So Q ACC. Now once you have done this, I want to update. How do you update? ACC dot name. Once it is updated, you have to take the record. You are going to get the record ID. Based on the record ID, you have to again take it. Okay, once it's updated, you have to get the record ID. Now how do you get the record ID? That's what is the main point here. Once you have updated, you have to take the record ID. Otherwise, before updation, you don't have the record ID. If I refer ACC, doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense because already the record is inserted. After insertion only, we are going to get ID. So what we are doing here, where ACC dot ID equal to rec 0 dot ID, then ACC dot equal to now you want to update. So how do you update? Where my update equal to dot. Now alert. I haven't used any JavaScript, just functionality I have not used. Directly I am writing the script. If you want to make it more proper, then what do you do? Invoke it on an event. Now the point here is what is happening now? What is the error that we got here? Small. Very small I have written there. But when you use in the Eclipse, basically when you do with this type of things, they are not allowed. They are not allowed in the Eclipse. Basically it throws an exception when you save itself. Something I have gone wrong. What is that? ACC.id equal to rec of 0.id. Okay. Is the record is created first. That's important. The mistake is I have not given. Everything is right. We are not included the script on the top. See, when the connection is not available, it's not throwing any exception. The connection should be included, no? Script is right, but the connection are not included. So, this is the reason why everybody use hard coding, not the scripting. What it? Error. ID is not specified as in update call. Status missing argument. ID null. ID null. I am not given the ID. So ID is not given here. Okay. Now let us look at the point. We are giving a record ID or record. Update ACC. Is specified here. What command? If not accepted capital, we will go for small. If accepted small, we will go for capital. Previously, when I gave the small, we got the error, right? It didn't support us. That's the reason I made capital. Okay, let me check it out. Yeah, ID is success. Okay, so last time when I made small, it didn't work. Then I started using capital, right? Okay. Okay, no, not this error. This one was using error ID. If I remember yesterday, there's only change what we made, right? Update the dot using. So I hope people are comfortable with this now, right? So try out with this. Complete the task whatever that is given here. So tomorrow I am going to use jQuery. I'm going to use jQuery. How to use the jQuery in the Salesforce and how to override the standard functionality. Already we have standard functionality in Salesforce, right? Save button, create button. I will override those buttons. How to override the standard buttons and how to use the JavaScript. Okay, jQuery. Tomorrow I am going to give you about usage of static resources, usage of jQuery. Then we will go for the example. Now you are comfortable with the Ajax calls. Now this is what we are making. We are making Ajax call from Visualforce. For this, we are making a web service call. Now, whosoever account you are going to give, to that account is going to make a call. Now, the same thing we can make with the Java. Let me quickly give you. If somebody want to use sforce in the Java, how they can give? In the sample code, I have given the Java connection and .NET connection. Now look at the point. Now, sforce, so partner connection. Okay, connection exception. Now what they are using here? Let me give you. So for here, it's a bulk connection actually. It's object. Then they will give type of operation. Let us not make much complicated. I'll directly give the functionality. The people have given unwanted coding on this. There's a simple connection. There's a single line connection what we can use. Let me give. There's a single line connection actually. No need to write such a huge code. The single line we can make it. This is still not required. Not required.